and I pass the floor to our Madam President Patricia Yap to start today's masterclass.
Thank you so much, our Zoom master, Aka, chat master, Alif. First of all, let's give yourself a big round of applause. Everyone, thank you for spending your time, your effort, and certainly your enthusiasm here, learning more about the power of leadership. It's our privilege this evening, this morning, this afternoon to have a very esteemed guest to us for sure. He has been in the world of Toastmasters for many years and has served in many different global and also different positions. And we are so honored to have him to share his experience with us. And let me introduce to you our speaker of the day, who is none other than Kevin Doyle, Distinguished Toastmaster, past district governor, past international director. Kevin led his district in District 49 Hawaii to distinguished district. And at the same time, he was also the international director in the year 2010-2012. He also sits on the board of National Committee on Club Scouting, Boy Scouts of America. Besides, he's also the past president, current director, and secretary of Seagull Schools. Apart from that, he also served as the vice chair, board of trustee, Abilities Unlimited. He co-authored 2 books, Camp Book 2, Compendium of U.S. Scout Camps. Also, he has many awards, including Silver Antelope Award, Western Region, Boy Scouts of America, and also NESA Outstanding Eagle Scout Award. From his accolades and his experiences, we understood he is certainly passionate about leadership and more so self-leadership. Because of this, we want to record everyone here before the kickstart our presentation by Kevin. So we're going to take a group photo, and everyone with your most expressive facial expression, imagine you are indeed the great leader of your life. So we will take a screenshot from here. And to some of our audience there, if you are able to turn on your video, we deeply encourage you on your video as well. And middle core, if you can sit a little bit upright so we can see your whole face, that would be really awesome. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone, whenever you're ready, in your biggest smile. And Qian Fai, can you sit a little bit at the back so we can see your whole face? Yes, fantastic. And Tarmizi, yes, our very passionate area director, Tarmizi, yes. All right, with your biggest smile, and imagine that possibility of you yourself as a great leader. Let's give our biggest smile on my count. 3, 2, 1. Okay, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, please unmute yourself if possible, and let's welcome Kevin with the spirit and the largest round of applause from all over the world. Over to you, Kevin.
Well, gosh, if I'd been introduced like that at the Toastmasters convention, I probably would have won second vice president. Thank you so much, Patricia. I'm going to try to share my screen. It's always a challenge for me. So bear with me while I try to get my presentation up for you. And let's see what happens. Ran into this problem last time. Okay, can everybody see my screen, the power of leadership?
Yes, looking good.
Okay, great. There's a pop-up that keeps coming up. I don't know if everybody gets to see it, but it's people entering the room, and I don't know if I should admit them or not. But anyway, I will go ahead and start. My name's Kevin Doyle. I've been a Toastmaster now for 33 years. I got thrust into leadership fairly early. I joined the company club, and about 4 months later, they asked me if I was interested in being an officer, and I thought, well, okay, I might as well get that experience. And the next thing I knew, I was the president of the club. And I only intended to join for a little while, but I ended up 33 years later, I'm still here. Toastmasters, I think you're all here because you see the value of it and what you're getting out of it and what you're giving to it. And that's because of leadership. So let's do a little brainstorming at first, okay? What are the characteristics of leadership for you? I realize time is limited, so I won't ask everybody to call them out, but I did compile some that I've heard as I've given this presentation before or something similar. And this is a compendium of them. Leader is visionary. They have integrity. They're principled. They persevere. They stick with things. They're dedicated. They radiate positive energy. They don't complain a lot. They're humble. They're service-oriented. They're mentors, and everybody knows what a mentor is, right? They communicate. They inspire, and they believe in other people. Now, at the bottom, you'll see one in yellow, and I singled that one out. They connect. Because if a leader doesn't connect with those he is going to lead, he's not going to lead them. There's an old saying that when you're a leader, every once in a while, you should turn around and see if anyone is following. Because if no one's following, you're not a leader. So the ability to connect is sort of foundational to all of these other attributes of a leader. Now, maybe you can see in yourself some of these attributes, or maybe all of them. And some of them, I need to work on this one or that one. So think in your mind, oops, too far. Which characteristic do you think is the most important? Which characteristic do you think is the least important? Oops, wrong slide. That was for Alicia. Let's use the example of this Formula One Ferrari race car. Which part do you think is the most important? Is it the tires? The steering wheel? The safety cage? The fire suppression system? Which part would you do without if you were the driver? The reality is, any given time, depending on the situation, any given leadership characteristic that we talked about, those attributes, could be the most important for the situation you're in. The moral of the story, whether you're driving a race car or exercising leadership, it's important to have as many of the parts or characteristics as you can. If these trucks were leaders, which one would you prefer to follow? That one on the left might need a new transmission, certainly needs a new paint job. And one on the right's right off the showroom floor. Might get along faster with one with all of the things you need. Now I'm going to toss you a curve. I'm actually going to change direction because this is not often asked in a leadership presentation. But I want you to think about it. And if you feel like it, unmute and answer the question from your perspective. What do you think is the opposite of leadership? And here's a hint, it's not fellowship.
Dictatorship.
Okay, dictatorship.
It's a leadership.
Anybody else? Okay, you've touched on it. I've thought about this for several months to figure out what's the antithesis of leadership? What's the opposite of leadership? And this is what I came to the conclusion. And this is going to be a real short section because I want you to just take it with you and think about this and how it relates to leadership. This is what I came up with. This is a cancer on leadership. Someone who is corrupt isn't serving their team, isn't serving the greater community. They're serving themselves. They're looking for that shortcut. They're looking for the money, the power for them so they can do what they want. Has everybody heard the phrase that there's a corrupt leader? That's a corrupt leader. Well, surprise, surprise, there's no such thing. Because if someone is corrupt, they're not a leader. They're not serving their constituency. I hope that's not me. They're not serving the community. They're not serving the people they are supposed to be serving. They're serving themselves. And that is not leadership, and that is not leading. So think about this as we go along. And now I'm going to go in a completely different direction for you folks. I want to talk about Hawaii and Hawaiian cultural values and how they relate to leadership. And I'm going to go through some Hawaiian words. You don't have to remember them, but maybe you will. And I would putting a PDF of these slides into the chat after I finish. So you'll be able to have the slides and be able to go through them in with a PDF reader. So I'm going to talk about alakai, leadership, and Hawaiian cultural values as they relate to leadership. Hawaiian culture is a very nuanced language. You have a word that can mean many things related, almost like an analogy built into the word. And depending how the word is used, you essentially understand what they're talking about. Alakai, leadership. And I'll talk a little bit more about that one now. Alakai is leadership, leading with initiative and by setting a good example. I will do what I say. The team I'm leading will look up to me. I will be positive, and they will do their best. Ohana. This is one of the Hawaiian words that has escaped a lot, at least in the US, into things. Perhaps because of the Disney movie Lilo and Stitch, which talked about family values and the importance of family. Ohana is more than just your immediate blood relatives. It's a circle of those who are family and those chosen as family. Adoption is a strong cultural tradition in Hawaii. people who are family. You cannot take care of all your children. You have a family member who can't have children. They are joyfully adopted out. The family grows. Ohana is an important concept, very heartfelt concept. Kina ole, flawlessness, in doing the right thing, the right way, the first time. There's more to Kina ole than that, and I'll cover it a little bit later. Lokahi, unity and harmony in collaboration and cooperation in working together to achieve more. In scouting, one of the names I was given as part of an award was Eimi Maoko Lokahi, and it translated as Seeker of the Harmony. Collaboration, cooperation, working together is a valued characteristic of Hawaiian culture. Ho'okipa, treating others hospitably and with generosity in sharing our ohana and our community. We're nice to everybody. Be kind. We share what we have with people who need. Kuleana, right, privilege, concern, responsibility. Kuleana is your responsibility, what you are responsible for. It's an old term. It goes back almost to the land use, where you had a chief and konohike, and the land divisions came down to the kuleana, where you would be given this plot or parcel of land, fish pond, and you would be responsible for taking care of it, making it productive, and helping the community. That would be your kuleana, your job. We've all heard the phrase, not my job. Well, one of the slang phrases, not my kuleana, not my circus, not my monkeys. You know, that's not a leader. You still have to take care of business and solve the problems. And now a bit more about Kina ole. I mentioned that flawlessness, and it was more than just those three things. In old Hawaii, if a professional, whether a craftsman, artist, priest, or official, performed a task in their line of work, it was expected to be done flawlessly and without defect. Anything less was not acceptable. No do-overs if that was your field of endeavor. You get it right the first time. So here's the full definition of Kina ole. Doing the right thing in the right way, at the right time, in the right place, to the right person, for the right reason, with the right feeling, the first time. Kind of a lot, huh? Well, I've got good news. You don't have to remember necessarily all that. You only have to remember four things. Because there's this great organization that put together some core values that encompass all of this. I think it's called Toastmasters. And Toastmasters' core values encompass that: integrity, respect, service, excellence. I think we all know what each of these means, but I want to talk about the first one, integrity. We've all heard the phrase, would you do it if someone was watching? That's a pretty heavy burden to stop and do that. But when I was growing up, my burden was heavier. My mother, who's born and raised in Scotland, said it a different way. And she raised the bar. The way she said it was, would you do it if your mother was watching? You might do it if somebody you didn't know was watching, but you probably wouldn't do it if your mom was watching and it wasn't the right thing to do. Integrity is a foundational value of the four. If you don't have integrity, respect isn't going to work. You're not going to get respect. Your service is going to be sloppy. Your excellence is not going to be there. It's the core value. When they came out with these, there were some that wanted the R first so they could be rise and they could remember it instead of remembering it without that little tool. But Toastmasters put integrity first. Remember the threat to leadership, corruption. If you don't have integrity, you're liable to have corruption. They're like two sides of a coin. Which side? So any presentation, I think, especially on leadership, should have a call to action. Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, goodness. Don't worry about it. You can do this. It's not a big call to action, but cumulatively, it makes a big difference. So you can do this. And one of the most important things is to believe you can do things, otherwise you won't. There's an interesting saying, if you want to win the race, you have to finish the race. That's important, but there's something more important than finishing the race. And that's starting the race, because if you don't start the race, you don't get to finish the race. So, call to action. I'm going to ask each of you to take this on. And it's cool. You only have to do it once a day. You'll find yourself probably doing it more than once a day, but you only have to do it once a day. Here it is. Not too hard, huh? Do something to make your community better. Even if it's only holding a door for somebody instead of letting it slam shut so they have to pull it open. Serve as an example. And then I would ask you that at the end of the day to think about what you did and think about what you could have done. Because Patricia mentioned earlier, you know, the kind of world we're in today with conflict and confrontation and polarization and violence being a solution to our problems for some people, and it's not a solution to anything. Being nice to someone makes all the difference in the world. There's a great saying, if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. You never know the impact you will have on people. Because one of the things I've discovered in life that it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about what you do for others. And that makes all the difference in the world. And that's what leadership is. Making a difference. Getting something done that's positive. And you only get there as a team. You only get there working together. So do something to help someone every day. You can do this. And I'll put my email address in the chat. And I'd love to hear from you on how this works for you. I don't mind getting spammed. I get spammed by things I have to delete, and I'd rather have stuff I didn't have to delete. So let me know how this works for you. And let me know about your leadership experiences. And if you have any questions after we're finished, feel free to use that email address and ping me, and I will get back to you, I promise. So with that, mahalo and aloha. Back to you, Patricia.
Wow, what an amazing, amazing session. Thank you so much, Kevin, for showering us with your experience, with your wisdom, and more so, your commitment to make our members certainly more aware of the power that we can be. A simple action, a smile, holding door for someone can make somebody a big and a nice day. Thank you so much, Kevin. Now with this, we would like to have everyone to unmute. This is a very rare moment that we have because we certainly want to express and also acknowledge Kevin's deep spirit to serve the world. Thank you so much. I'm lost for words, and I know a lot of us are also deeply touched. So with this, I'd like to invite all of us to unmute yourself and the 3 powerful words. Thank you, Kevin. All right. This is our way of spreading our thanksgiving, our gratitude towards Kevin for sure. Thank you. And let's do this at the count of 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Let's follow by the 3 powerful words. We love you, Kevin. 4 words now. At the count of 3, 2, 1.
We love you, Kevin.
All the best, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you very
with
much.
this, we have a little more time because I know certainly a lot of us do have a lot of questions. And it's my honor right now to hand over the virtual stage to our very passionate Toastmaster all the way from Japan. Domo arigatou gozaimashite. Over to you, Duncan, our FAQ master.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Kevin, for a very, very meaningful talk. I thought it was very clear and very well put. Why more people can't do as you suggest, sometimes it just defeats me. I don't know why. Maybe that's why we're not all of us are born to be leaders. But we can all be leaders, as you suggest, and as you point out in your presentation. Anyway, the questions are starting to roll in, so I better shut up and get on with the questions because we do have quite a few. I'll start with a question coming from Miss Rosie Fitzner. The question that Rosie has is, how does the concept of kinaole fit with learning and not doing things perfectly in the beginning? I'll just repeat that. How does the concept of kinaole fit with learning and not doing things perfectly in the beginning?
Well, as you might have noticed, it talked about people with specific roles or jobs, a craftsman or a priest or whatever, someone who's responsible for that. No one's expected to be, you're not born being able to ride a bicycle. You fall off many times before you get there. And with kinaole, if you're passing yourself off as an expert in something, then you're expected to do that flawlessly. But if you're not, and you're learning, you're an apprentice, then there's going to be mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's something to be achieved, worked on. It's a journey. And you can do it. You just have to decide doing your best is important. I talked to some people who contestants in speech contests, and they worry, or they sometimes think I did better than the person who won, or I lost. I came in second or third. Well, you didn't lose. You learned. You know, you're winners and learners. You don't have to lose. You can learn from the experience. But the point is, in a speech contest and in life, you do your best. And if you do your best, you can't do better than that. But if you come in second and you didn't do your best, it's on you. It's not on the judges. So always do your best. That's the Cub Scout motto, by the way.
Exactly. I was a Cub Scout as well once, and a Scout too.
Oh, Duncan. I left England 63 years ago. I started school in Finchingfield Primary in Essex.
Oh, not far from where my dad was born. We have some more questions coming in.
Sure.
So the next one is from Miss Christina Tai. And Christina's question is, in what ways is Lokahi different from teamwork? In what ways is Lokahi different from teamwork?
Lokahi is an attribute that supports teamwork. In its simplest form, it's harmony. So teamwork that is harmonious is a lot more efficient and successful than teamwork where all the team members are fighting or disagreeing, not working together. You might have noticed on my second to last slide there, I had one canoe, many paddles. That was my district theme when I was district governor. And the idea was, we're all in the same boat trying to get to the same place, and we have to work together. I don't know if you've seen an outrigger canoe and paddling contests, and if they ever hold the Olympics in Hawaii, it'll be an Olympic sport. But you all work together, and not everybody can paddle all the time. Things come up. They have to take a break. But we pitch in, we cover for them. That's what harmony is. That's what teamwork is. You know, it's not the same, but one works a lot better with the other.
I must admit, I used to do a bit of dragon boat racing a few years ago, and it's not about how strong the team is; it's how harmonious they are. Getting the harmony is the #1 way to win. And if you don't, you're all over the place. Our next question comes from Shan Chang. Shan asks, why does the item Kinaoli need to be done the first time? Why does Kinaoli have to be done the first time?
Well, I don't know. You hire somebody to repair your roof. You don't expect it to leak the next time it rains. You like jobs and things to be done the first time. And that's the concept. That's, it's perfection. It's flawlessness. Maybe some things don't need to be flawless. I'm going to cover that mar on the wall with paint. Well, your paint should be flawless. You don't want the mar to show through.
That's the concept. Same concept as do it right the first time. My suggestion to everybody would be do it right, do it right the first time, and do it right every time. Okay, we've got plenty of time yet. So I've got a couple of questions myself, actually. Now, you mentioned right at the beginning that on one of your slides that you have to have belief in others as a leader. How do you deal with those members on your team who don't believe in you or just don't want to be part of your team? Because I've had a couple of those characters in my time, and I've often wondered how best to deal with them. And I have to admit, in one or two cases, I didn't deal with them very well at all.
Well, it's a challenge if someone is where they shouldn't be. I had an administrative assistant who wasn't necessarily really happy and wasn't doing the job, but I had the opportunity where there was in a related department, loggerheads between two of the secretaries. They would not get along. It was fighting all the time. And one of them was quite good. And so I went to the vice president and said, let's solve this. I can solve this. I'll let you have my secretary and I'll take this one over here. And so the fight was over, fight was done, changed the team. The two secretaries over there had a great relationship, and I had a secretary that had stepped up and did a better job. You find a solution that works. You look for that. You also have to figure out with your team members what the issue is. And you may need to set some guidelines and standards that they need to follow and catch them up on it when they don't. We're not going to fight. You're not going to be sarcastic in a meeting. You're going to be friendly. You're going to be kind. You don't have to like each other, but you have to be nice to each other. And you have to apply yourself. I always told my team that if something needs to be done, I don't care if it's your job or not. If it's not being done, our job is to take care of business and get it done. And if someone else is dropping the ball, we don't walk away and say, well, it's their job to pick it up. I use the example, for example, of litter. Somebody throws litter or rubbish or bottles in your yard. Okay. Well, they shouldn't have done that. It's their responsibility to pick it up. But they're gone. And that litter, those bottles are messing up your environment. So you're going to stay there and say, nope, they're going to come back and pick it up. Well, don't hold your breath waiting. So take care of it. Yeah, it's not your job. Take care of it. Make the place a little bit better.
Good response. I wish I'd done that the first time. I won't go into it because we're running out a little short of time. But we do have one more question. I think we just have enough time. And this is from Tamizzi Razak. How do you inspire people to be a good club officer? How do you inspire people to be a good club officer in Toastmasters?
Well, probably the most important thing is to be a good club officer yourself. 2, take a good look at the Toastmaster mentoring program, and it's available in Basecamp after someone has. Every member of your club should have a mentor, including you, and you should follow a lot of the guidelines in there. Not everything works, use the things that work. But if you're a club officer and you don't have the person who's going to take that position next year identified already, you need to get to it. You need to do your best. You need to make sure that someone's in place to take that role if you're not going to be there. And inspiration, by doing a good job of finding ways to make that job easier, helps recruit those kinds of people. Now, having said all that, my experience in watching Toastmasters over the past 4 or 5 years is society has seemed to evolve to where people like attending events. They look at a meeting as an event. I'll just go to the event. I don't have to put it on. Someone else is putting it on. You know, I'll just participate if I'm called on for table topics, but I'm not going to sign up, and heck, I'm not even going to tell them I'm coming. Because if I decide not to come, no worries. So, you know, that's the sort of thing we've got to try to figure out how to motivate people. And I refer to it as climate change in the world and the community at large, because it affects more than just Toastmasters. And I don't have a solution for it. But we should find one, and we may need to modify what we do or how we do it so that it's more attractive to today's generations. You know, what worked for me, you know, for the last 30 years may not be what they're interested in. So how do we package our educational efforts and turning people into better leaders and better communicators in a way that they will want to participate and enjoy? That's our challenge.
The red screen has come up, but I believe we have enough time, looking at my watch, for just one more question. We have a question now from Sung Jun. How do you inspire members who say it is too hard to do?
You're referring to pathways, I guess.
I think anything in Toastmasters. So how do you inspire members who say it is too hard to do, whether it be pathways or any sort of leadership position, or even I would guess any sort of role playing or position within Toastmasters?
Well, you tell them what I was told in almost every organization that recruited me. It's only an hour a week. Right. You know, being a Scoutmaster is not an hour a week.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Well, you have to get to the core of the issue, and the core of the issue is they believe they can't, and you need to get them to believe they can. Henry Ford had a wonderful quotation: whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. And as long as they think it's too hard, you know, when I was 7 learning how to ride a bicycle, it was too hard. So was the ground. So was that concrete. But you keep at it, and you know, you have to build that fire that they can do this.
Thank you very much indeed, Kevin. Now, before I hit the concrete, I think I better wrap it up, because the red screen is flashing now, telling me to shut up. So, but thank you very much for all that, Kevin. I mean, that was a great session, and I think we all learned a lot from it. I'll hand the microphone now back to Patricia. Patricia, would you like to take over?
Thank you so much to our FAQ master, Duncan Barr, all the way from Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Duncan a huge round of applause for certainly asking so many questions to our esteemed speakers. And we certainly learned a lot from the Q&A, actually. I do understand we still have a lot of us who just coming up for more questions right now. And do stay back, because we are going to have a bonus session for all of us who stay back later on, Ask Kevin Anything. This session will not be recorded, so do not be too self-conscious of this. So basically, when we mention Ask Kevin Anything, is really Ask Kevin Anything session, all right? So that's one of the reasons why we have decided to have a bonus session, so that you can really tap into some of the questions that you may have, you know, been bothered by it. And this is the time to ask Kevin for his perspective on very challenging and even hard and difficult, and I would say even dirty questions that you wish somebody would have enlightened you. All right, with this, thank you once again for being here with us. It's now important for us to certainly acknowledge on the virtual screen our esteemed speaker, Kevin, for enlightening all of us. And to conduct this session, it's my honor to hand the control over to our Zoom master, who will be flashing the acknowledgement to our esteemed speaker, Kevin. Over to you, Alif.
Yes, I have shared my screen. Can you all see it?
Yes, I certainly can. Thank you so much, Alif. Let me take a screenshot. All right, and it's our honor and privilege to acknowledge the presence of Kevin Doyle, Distinguished Toastmaster, past district governor, and past international director. So let's spotlight Kevin and myself on the virtual screen. Can someone also help me to take a photo if possible? Yeah, because I'm on my laptop. Shan, are you able to do that? And perhaps Mariana can help as well, if possible. Thank you.
Yes, I take picture, but need to focus on you and Kevin.
Yes, let us smile and look at the pinhole.
Yes, please
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah. Let us give us 3, 2, 1. Yeah, do a countdown.
Okay, just wait a moment. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. That's
Ta-da.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's also acknowledge our role player. Our role player, we are so honored to have you to help us. And thank you, Alif. Alicia is not able to come, and that's why I'm replacing Alicia. Nevertheless, she has been a great leader, helping us to make this possible. Thank you, Alicia. And also thank you to our FAQ master, Duncan. Certainly our timer, Daphne, who has designed a special set of virtual background to contribute to today's master class. Myself and Ask Kevin Anything Master, Sui Sin, will be on the stage later. So with this, let's have all the role players being spotlighted, and we will take a group photo together with Kevin. So over to you, Shan. You will stand in as our photographer as well. So thank you so much. Let's spotlight Shan if possible. Alif, are you able to do that? That would be great.
Yes. Yes, but how to I made everyone in the same screen?
Okay, let me see if I can do this.
Yes, just wait a moment.
Yeah. Alif, you managed to spotlight everybody?
Yes, yes. All spotlighted.
Okay.
Okay, our timer. Daphne, would you be able to look at the screen?
And sorry.
Okay, taking a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Lucky. Thank you. All right, with this, it's our honor to invite everybody with your big smile. We took one photo earlier, and now we want to take one more. Certainly, one more is the after, right? After the session, I'm sure all of us have gotten our own takeaway. Mine is certainly Kuliana. My Kuliana is to stay true to myself, uphold the value of integrity. What is yours? What is your Kuliana? Ladies and gentlemen, and folks, let us look at the camera. And with the biggest gift that you want to embrace today, I wish you all the best in your leadership journey with the blessing from our speaker this evening, this afternoon, and this morning from Kevin. Big smile with the hand gestures, because the hands are so important to make sure that we remember our promise to ourselves, stay on the journey of leadership. Lucky, would you be able to help us?
Done.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also send a love to yourself if you can. Spam yourself with emoticon and certainly to our speaker, Kevin. Thank you so much. With this, it has been an honor to serve all of you from all parts of the world. Most importantly, we would also like you to spread the lessons, the gems, the gift of leadership, the power of leadership to your community, your tribe. Before we move on to the bonus session, and certainly my honor also to ask all of you to type in the chat box, what is your biggest takeaway today? What is the biggest takeaway for you to invest your time? What is the value that you picked up? And what is your call to action? Go ahead and type in the chat box, because I'm sure our speaker, Kevin, certainly would like to know what your biggest takeaway is. I'm going to pause you for a while. Do something to help someone every day. Thank you, Suisin. Keep the response coming in. Thank you so much. Integrity from Servin Chia. Thank you, Servin, our member, very passionate member who is now serving in her own community. Lead by good example. Thank you so much. Smile. Thank you. What is your kuleana? Go ahead. We learned so many valuable lessons, values from Hawaiian culture. And similarly, we find Hawaiian culture is so much resonating with our own Asian culture as well. So many beautiful values that we want to spread to our world. Be kind, be in harmony. Yes, harmony is so important. Go ahead, we certainly would like to have everyone to type in the chat box. Yes, the opposite of leadership is corruption, so true. Be very, very aware and mindful of that so that we don't get trapped unnecessarily or unconsciously. Great, I've seen so many of you. Now is the time to unmute yourself, certainly to express your gratitude in the verbal form. We want to hear your voice as well. Give us some feedback as well. Rosie, you have just unmuted. Yes, Rosie.
Feedback on what I was just getting ready to express gratitude. Gratitude's so important, isn't it? It's the thing that changes our almost enough into absolutely enough.
Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Rosie. How about you? Whenever you're ready, do unmute yourself because this is a very rare moment. We certainly want to listen to you as well. Amran, you have unmute.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
love.
Amen. Oh.
Okay. I collected a few take-home message. One of those that I love the most is do something to help someone every day, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Amran. Sanjong, over to you. After
Thank you,
Sanjong
Kevin.
is Aini. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's emotion. You have a good emotion, but we're not using this one enough. One thing is the smile. You cannot smile and angry same time. And think about it, because I talked with a lot of people. They don't think. You do a lot of unconsciously because of your environment. Follow it. I think a lead is how to create your own environment. You are master of your environment. I think you can be a leader, and then you can share the people next to you. That's I think I learned, and I just to share with everyone. Thank you.
Very powerful word that was shared by Sanjong. One word, 5 letters. What is the letter? What is the word again? I'm now checking with you guys. What is the one word, 5 letters that's really powerful? Suisin, I know you can let us know. What was it?
Power, P-O-W-E-R, 5 letters, 1
5
word.
letter, smile, right? Everybody got that? Okay, let's give a big smile. Yes, let's give a big smile. I want to catch your smile. Your smile certainly brings so much positivity to everybody. In your own term, big smile and spam it with the love emoticon if you can. On my count, 3, 2, 1. Lovely to see all your energy all across the screen. Servin, would you like to say a few words? You have been a warrior in the past, and I'm so honored to have you, Servin.
Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for today's session. It's a very interesting section, especially this leadership I learned from Kevin. Yes, Kevin, I truly agree with you. As a leader, we must practice integrity. This one is a key area. It's not only for the leadership, it's in life as well. Integrity to me is more on follow your words. When you promise people, you have to deliver it. and there's no excuses at all, regardless what challenging we are facing. As a leader, your word is your word is the your word is everything. Okay, so as a leader, what you say, you must deliver. And you know, Kevin, I really love what you shared today. You are really a key leader to me. You know, from your whole aura, I see your sharing is totally, you are the good leader for us to follow. So I hope that I got chance to learn from you again. Thank you so much, Kevin, for today's session. And also, I truly appreciate Patricia. It's not easy for her as a president, and she really did well, not only for this term, from the past term as well. I hope for the coming one, she continue to lead. Actually, Advance is doing very well because of the whole team, and then the same thing as you know, Patricia. She really putting her whole effort to run this whole Arden Toastmasters. So thank you so much again for Pat and Kevin. Thank you.
I also want to give honor and credit to all the team members of Arden. It's never a one-man show. It's so important to have a great team, and teamwork is so important. I would feel in Toastmasters, everything is teamwork, and everything that we look up front is successful is because of the invisible, sometimes the team members who are behind the scene, who are doing so much, and the energy just propel and motivates me to go forward. And I'm so grateful to be in this position. And I have to say, it's always very challenging. It's very challenging, but in the midst of it, it's really the values, our why, to hold us to be where we are. And I do feel at this moment, Caroline, you do have some to share as well, because I know you also had a pretty rough, challenging journey. But I'm so happy to see you beaming today. So perhaps, Caroline, you may want to share with us, what is the motivation behind you after listening to Kevin?
Well, I want to thank Kevin, because this is the first time I'm learning about the Hawaiian culture on leadership. It's something very new to me, and it's great. I've learned so many new words, new terms, and it really gives me an idea of how I want to improve in my leadership journey in Toastmasters. It's always through this kind of workshop or sharings that I get to learn bit by bit. I'm only taking one step at a time, but I am still in the right path under the guidance of this big Toastmasters family. I really learned a lot. Thank you very much for this session. I especially thank Patricia for the arrangement for such a wonderful session. Thank you. Over to you, Patricia.
I couldn't thank you enough too, Caroline. Thank you so much. Right, we are seeing the red virtual background. Okay, great. So it has almost come to an end right now, but I'd like to invite all of you to please stay back. But before we move to the next session, which is Ask Kevin Anything session, Kevin, we would like to listen to one of the secrets that you would like to give away to all our audience who are here before some of them have to leave and go back to their work. And before that, I thought it would be timely for me to also ask for the final secret or the final statement from you before we have them officially close the meeting. So Kevin, what would be your final secret that you would like to share with those who have to leave now? Over to you, Kevin.
Sure. One of the things I learned at a Toastmasters meeting, especially when we're online now using Zoom, when table topics comes around, don't turn off your camera. That's like refusing to look at the table topics master and they call on you. So that's my tip. No, that's useless. No, I think being kind, listening to your team. A lot of times we talk about problems, we got to work on this problem, when in fact, we should work on the solutions. And we sometimes never get past it. And as far as leadership is concerned, I think one of the greatest barriers to moving forward are things like committees and task force where there is literally no leader because no one has ultimate responsibility. And they can always say, well, this is what the task force wanted or whatever, and no one is actually taking charge. And we need to be wary of that, that if you're a leader and you're in a role, I've always told people and always maintained in my employment, I'm retired now, but I worked for a Hawaiian Electric Company for 40 years, that you have responsibility or authority over someone. You're responsible for this job and you have various people under you who are supposed to be taking care of it. If they don't, that responsibility rolls up and it's ultimately yours. It rolls up to you. So you have to be aware of what's going on. Observation is really important for a leader. I always say no surprises, but I get surprised all the time because I wasn't paying attention to things that I could have fixed earlier, and now it's going to take longer to fix. So, as a leader, you can't pass it off. You can't hand it to somebody else. I was in a hiring situation for a position I recommended the company form. And so we're going to interview these candidates. And I got asked because I had suggested this position, I asked to come in and be on the interview team. Great. I expect to go in and see 2 or 3 people. There were 13 people in that room to interview. What an intimidation that was. And before the candidates started coming in, the vice president said, well, we're going to ask some questions and everything, and then we'll vote on who we want. And I stood up and I said, well, I'm not going to participate in that. I said, you can't put the responsibility on everybody else. We'll make recommendations, but you have to make the decision. You can't put it off on somebody else. You can't abdicate your leadership. And so as a leader, you have to be careful of handing off your responsibility, your kuleana. So you'll have an excuse when something goes wrong and say, well, it was they did it, they said it. That's not a leader. There's all sorts of things when you're a leader to be thinking about and you're bombarded with, and you got to watch this and you got to take care of this and everything. So build a good team, learn how to delegate. And sorry, guys, when I was a district governor at the time, now district director, my treasurer was a male. The rest of my team were female. And somebody said, how come you have all women? And I said, they get stuff done. I feel comfortable delegating because they will do things. The guys will there's great guys, but some of them just, you got to bug them to get stuff done. Sorry, guys. Duncan probably had a couple of those.
Yes, I had a few of those. And I had a few bosses too, who they seemed to, they loved having the responsibility. Sorry, the other way around. They loved having the authority, but they didn't want to have the responsibility. And if something went wrong, yes, they would try and blame one of their team members. And recently I heard, after I left the company a couple of years back, I heard that one of those leaders did it big time and upset a lot of people. And quite a few of them left the company.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. You can delegate authority. You can't delegate responsibility. In other words, it's on your shoulders as a leader. You can delegate authority, the authority to do something to a member of your team. But ultimately, if it doesn't happen, it's you. So that's why you need to keep track of things.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. With this, to some of us who has to leave for work, please do so. But we send you a lot of blessings. and practice what you have promised, not to us, but more so to yourself. Remember what is the one thing you want to do every day. And Kevin has left us his email as well. If you don't, it's okay. I have it. I'll post in the chat. And do feel free to let Kevin know how you have benefited and how you are going to practice your daily so-called call to action so that you can really transform your life for this very, very exciting dragon year. So with this, thank you so much for staying with us. And for some of us who are staying back, yes, this is the moment you get to ask a lot of more questions again. Thank you so much once again to all of you. And let's give a big round of applause to our Kevin Doyle all the way from Hawaii. Maloha, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Kevin.
Thank you.